Well, the Bucs lost last week on Thursday night, but that was not the biggest news of the week.
Not the biggest news?
No.
There's something else going on with the Bucs?
No, I mean, we don't even have to talk about the headlines. The headline is Trent Cooper.
Trent Cooper is joining the show, and if you don't know who that is, you're about to find out.
From the Stream Center, this is the Rondé Barber Show, sponsored by Advent Health and Renewal by Andersen. Here's your host, JB Buno, and Hall of Famer Rondé Barber.
Welcome to episode 22. You like my dramatic pause there.
That was pretty dramatic. People probably thought that their headphones broke or something.
I was waiting for people to say, you're going to say Todd Bowles, you're going to say Baker Mayfield. There's big headlines. Nope. We are not going there today. We are, we can go there. We will eventually go there.
Yeah, we are going to talk Bucs football, but there's something else in the news that makes the Bucs relevant nationally, Rondé, and it's awesome.
We're not going to spend time off the top on the Bucs that are 7-7. We're going to spend time talking about 50 years of Bucs football, and with us today is the director of 50 years of Bucs football, Mr. Trent Cooper. Trent Cooper, how are you, man?
I'm good. Raise the Flags is the title. 50 years of Buccaneers football.
I didn't know that. Raise the Flags. I was just making sure you knew that, Trent.
I just making sure I didn't screw it up.
Man, I didn't know, Trent. I did not know how many episodes. This is a 10-episode documentary effort on Amazon Prime. Ronnie, this is a big deal, man.
This is a big
and you're
deal.
in it?
This is a big deal. Yes, of course I'm in it. This is a big deal because, first of all, I'm going to get to the question of how do we get this on Amazon Prime? But the real question, and I think because you're the one that's behind the camera, you're the one that did all the interviews, why Bucs? Why are you a Bucs fan, man? I don't think a lot of people really understand that this dude, JB, is a fanatic and a perfect guy to do this documentary of Bucs 50 years of football.
Well, first, I'm going to answer two questions. The first question I'm going to answer is, why is it 10 episodes? and I think it's 10 episodes because I believe this is one of the great stories in all of sports. If you really look at this franchise, where they started, what they've been through, I can't think of a better story for an NFL football team. So that's why it's 10 episodes, because there's a lot of killer story to tell. And I don't care if you're a Bucs fan or not, you're gonna respond, because it's about people going through stuff and feeling stuff deeply, and the highs and lows and the journey that this game takes us on, both behind the scenes and in front of it. And that's why it's 10 episodes. But why am I a Bucs fan? Because my neighbor knocked on my door when I was 7 years old. I remember answering the door. And he said, "Hey, you don't know me. I'm your next door neighbor. I have 4 tickets to a Bucs game that I can't use. Maybe." And I'm like, "Oh, let me go get my dad. Take these tickets, Dad." We end up going to our first Bucs game. That game was the first ever home win for the Bucs. So they had won the week before in New Orleans, and they end up they hadn't won at home yet. So all those fans were desperate to see a home win. And I was 8 years old, and I'm sitting in the end zone, and everyone's chanting something. I'm like, "What are they saying?" They're saying, "Let's go 2 in a row." And I remember saying to my brother, "What is this?" He goes, "They're saying, 'Let's go 2 in a row.'" "Why 2 in a row?" And he goes, "Because they won last week." So they won that game, and the fans stormed the field and tore the goalpost down, and I was hooked. And I honestly don't know if I've missed a game since then. That's been a minute.
That's a heck of a story, man. I don't think I realized that was your connection to this. And obviously, I sat down with Trent. I'm part of this great documentary, 50 years of Bucs football, and the significance of it is really. It's first of all, do you know any other teams that have had this type of momentous year that have done something similar? I can't remember if I've seen one from any other team in the NFL to do this.
Yeah, 50 is an interesting milestone, because you have like all of those older teams, like the Bears and the Packers and all of them, that are over 100 now.
Right.
So 50, that's, it's us and Seattle and some other teams, and
there's a perfect
Seattle hasn't won.
There's a perfect example. Seattle doesn't have one of these, correct? They don't have.
I think I think you got to get a couple rings before people are going to let you do your own series.
So if you're on the outside looking in and you're thinking about watching this documentary, what is it that really is at the heart of this? What are we trying to tell people about 50 years of Buck football? Obviously, everybody in Tampa Bay is watching this thing. I've gotten so many comments about how good it is. Just how engaging it is. You sit down for one, and the next thing you know, you've watched 5 or 6 of them. But if you're telling somebody that's not a Bucs fan, what's at the core of this documentary?
I think it's about the struggle, right? So it's we can identify with this incredible underdog. And something about that 0-26 in our DNA just made us the ultimate underdog. And, we see it later, 30 or so many years later in your own story. You were the ultimate underdog. Like, we keep seeing this underdog story in this little town that isn't, the Dallas Cowboys. It's sort of the antithesis of that, and we just keep fighting for it. And you were talking about the responses that you're hearing from people that are talking to you. I'm getting them now too, and I'm so glad we're doing this a week after it launched, because had we done this the day it launched, I wouldn't have known. I honestly, the day this launched, maybe 20 people on Earth had seen it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And now 20,000 have seen it, or I don't know how many thousand, right? So now we're starting to hear back from people, and we're hearing a couple things consistently, and that is fans are saying, God, you got it right. They're like, thank you for getting it right. And I was like, okay, thank God I got it right. but it's like this thing where people have been through trauma as Bucs fans, real trauma, and we've suffered, but then we've had the highest of highs. And to go on that ride again, it's almost like therapy for people on one level. It's so joyous. It's something they're loving. Like, around the holidays, they're having so much fun with it. I've had people say, like, they want to write the Glazers a thank you note for doing this. Just it's just such a gift for Bucs fans. The other thing I keep hearing is, as you watch it, you remember where you were when stuff happened.
Yes.
I remember who I was with when I watched that game. I remember, like, for me, I remember when Rondé Barber got the interception. My son was five months old, and he was sitting in his little rocker bouncer chair, and I was smart enough to put earplugs in because I knew I might scream that day. And even though he had the earplugs, and I'm sitting in front of my TV, I screamed so loud, my wife reminds me that he started crying. It's like, but we all remember where we were with all of these moments, and it brings us back to this really cool place. And it's just fun to go on the ride.
Right. So the goal is obviously nostalgia to a degree, education.
Yeah.
You mentioned inspiration. I mean, so you've basically touched all 3 of those. You said something there that really kind of triggered a question I meant to ask, and it's something that I was really reflective on having watched. So I know the Glazers really well. Been in this town for 28 years. They're the only people that I've ever had to work for in terms of professional football. I thought you did a phenomenal job shining a light on who they really are. Because I think a lot of people have misconceptions about our ownership and what type of people they are.
Yeah.
I mean, you made Ed look really affable, and I think that is something that is sometimes hard to do, right? Ed's got this demeanor about himself, but you made our ownership group. I think you made them proud because having been around them for a lot of years, I don't think that everybody really sees them for what they really are. Right. And you did an amazing job. Can you speak to sitting down with all of them? You sat down. I was telling Garrett, one of our guys here, I was like, you probably didn't even know there was a Kevin Glazer. Did you? Right. And I think a lot of people don't really understand the family, but I thought you did a great job with them.
Well, here's the irony is I actually knew the family better than you might think because I had done another project for them. So I got to know them all 4 or 5 years ago. So this is my second project with them. And I've known Ed since I was 25 years old. So this is a great backstory. So I'm 25 years old. And my first big break as a filmmaker is the Bucs hired me to do their new marketing video when they first took over the team, and they were launching. They were trying to get the new stadium built, and they were changing the uniforms, and they wanted to sell club seats and all this. It's like, this is the new day in Tampa Bay. And I did that video. I was 25 years old, and another guy was 25 years old. His name was Ed Glazer, and his father said, "Hey, you're coming, coming to town to work with us. And one of the early projects I want to give you is I want to assign you to oversee this film we're making." So Ed was assigned to oversee me. We're both 25, and it was sort of one of our sort of early important projects of our lives, and that went really well. And 25 years later, we're doing this together.
That's so cool.
There's a little history there, but I actually had some history with the family, and I love this family inside and out. I really love who Malcolm is and what was and is, and Linda, and I understand all the different ways that they influence their kids and how we see that today. And I'm with you. I don't think anybody else really knew them that well until this, but I think the fact that I knew them a little bit enabled them to trust. There was a trust and a comfort there.
Sure.
And then the next thing is they each were very committed to giving me access. Like, these interviews were really long, and with Brian and Ed and Joel specifically, they were 2 days each with them. Can you imagine?
Right.
Sitting with an NFL owner for 2 days, and nobody's rushing to get on to the next more important thing. This was the thing. And they were willing to go however deep we needed to go, and they trusted me, and I think we got something really special.
I think one of the hardest parts of this is, how do you judge? Are you just doing star players? You doing the unsung, guys? Are you only talking about on-field successes, or you're talking about the impact that the team and this ownership group has had? So with 50 years to cover, right? JB and I were talking about this right before. How difficult really is it to decide which moments you spotlight? Like, is it the ones the fans want, or is it the ones that you think are most important to the overall theme of the show?
I want it to be about what makes you feel the most. So I'm constantly saying to our editors, and we had 6 editors on this, and they're all amazing, and almost every day we would say to them, we're not in the business of history lessons. You want a history lesson, go to Wikipedia. We're not doing stats. That's not what we do. We're in the business of making people feel emotion, and we want to be giving you goosebumps. We want to make you cry. We want to give you chills. And yes, so that's the priority. And then the other thing we love is we love giving you something you didn't know about something you care deeply about. So I want to show a different side of, what was happening the night Tony Dungy came back with the Colts and broke our backs. And, what do we
I don't want to know that side, by the way.
Well, I want to thank you, because you were the one guy that said how backbreaking that night was, because as fans, that's like a top 5. I mean, is that number 1 loss of all the top 5? By the way, the other night's on that list too.
Yes, it was. We weren't going to go there. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
You know what?
I left that field going, this feels about as bad as that Dungy night.
Right. You releasing, us releasing this documentary on that day actually saved some of the anxiety from that loss on Thursday night.
Absolutely. My goodness.
But getting back to that Dungy thing is like, here's a thing that we all watched as fans. Either we were there that night or we were watching on TV. We only know what we know from TV and from the great writers around town that wrote about it.
Yep.
But when you sit down and you start talking to Allstott about what was going on underneath that story, you haven't gotten there, Rondé. If you're on episode 5, you're going to see him start to reveal this was the most sort of significant night of his neck injury and what he was dealing with underneath that bigger story.
Mm-hmm.
And what the Glazer family was doing with and for him in that moment, and what Brad Johnson was dealing with that night, what Gruden's dealing with that night. Like, it's cool to see all this stuff you didn't know about this thing that you remember it's in your subconscious, but you just don't know the extra details.
Yeah, I remember Allstott going through those years. They were not the funnest of
Yeah, it was
years. 'Cause
tough.
Allstott's one of my dearest friends,
Best
still,
friends,
still to
yeah.
this day. And I see him, hug him, give him a kiss on cheek every time I see him. It's just you form this brotherhood that obviously
Yeah.
doesn't get spotlighted that much.
Yeah.
Certainly post playing career. But yeah, those are the stories that I think people really want to hear. I mean, Allstott's a legend, right? Sapp's a legend. Brooks is a legend. I thought. Going further back, and again, this is something we were talking about right before you got on. There's a lot that I didn't know about the Bucs prior to becoming a Buccaneer in 1997. In fact, I joke all the time when I got drafted here. I was like, "Who were the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?" By the way, who's their head coach? Right. Oh yeah, that's right. I did sit down with Tony Dungy at the draft, but I was completely unaware of their history. I grew up in the Virginia area. I was the NFC East guy. I was Washington, Dallas. The Eagles. Arizona at the time, they were in the East, and like that was those were the center. Talk about some of these stories from the past. I mean, the Doug Williams story, which I think we all kind of know about. That being in the forefront. The Jimmy Giles story. I've had these conversations with Jimmy Giles recently about the trade that got Doug, all other stuff. But like, how do you decide digging back that far which stories are most important?
I mean, it keeps coming back to where I feel the most, right? So with Doug, and by the way, Doug was my first hero. Doug is my first jersey. I had one jersey, and it was number 12. And, we're in the backyard, and my brother's Doug, and I'm Jimmy Giles. Like, what? So it was, I go into it with that, right? But honestly, where Doug's story got so much deeper to me is what he had gone through with his wife. And the fact that he lost his wife, to a brain aneurysm, and they had this newborn child, and I'm just like, I'm sitting in the chair crying as he's telling me this story. And I honestly didn't know it. I know, again, here's what we know. We know Doug was our hero, and he was the face of the franchise, him and Leroy, and we knew there was a contract dispute, and we know we lost him. I didn't know what was going on with his wife.
No, I didn't know that either.
And that just, I almost felt bad that I didn't know. So one of the things that's great about this process is you're going to get an interview with Doug, right? And as you prep for that interview, you gotta ask all the big milestone things. You got to play the hits and all that. But you're also fishing a little bit, and you're seeing the things that you don't know. I wouldn't know to ask if I knew. I don't need to, like, I got to fish a little bit, just like you're fishing with me right now. You don't know, like, you didn't know I was going to tell you that story about being a little kid and going to the game and everything. So what's unbelievable is when you're sitting in that chair and they say something that just floors you or makes you cry or makes you feel. And that's when, like, I go into turbo drive. It's just like, oh my God, I got to follow up. I got to be cool here. Sometimes I got to just shut the hell up and just let them feel it. Sometimes I gotta ask it a different way. My brain is racing, going, do I have enough context to deliver this emotional beat? Have they set it up right? Because I don't use narrators. So sometimes I gotta go back and go, hey Doug, tell me, set me up here.
Yes,
right? Where were we when this
Right.
So it's exactly what you do so well, in your show and in your careers in the media. Like, it's super fun, man.
Right.
Like, but I think you're asking, like, how do you know what to use? And it always comes back to, what do we feel the most?
Right. So who was your most memorable interview here? Obviously, you got to sit down with Brady.
That's on my list.
Right?
Yeah.
You got to sit down. I mean, of all the guys you got to sit down with, which one were you, first of all, like, oh man, I can't believe I'm getting to do this with him, but who was the most engaging and, like, gave you the best type of information?
I think it's Gruden. I left that interview and I called my wife and I said, that might be I think that's like the number one interview of my career. Like, I don't remember an interview where I went on the journey with the guy, all the highs and lows, and we both felt them so deeply, and there was just such a mutual respect. And for whatever reason, I was on my game that day, he was on his game, and we didn't know each other prior to that moment. But man, we've kind of become friends since then, because you can't go through 3 or 4 hours like that and not become friends. And I really appreciated that he dropped all the bullshit, man. He just showed up ready to open his veins and bleed.
That's how he is.
Man, it was cool. And it started with how crushed he was to be sort of sold in the middle of the night from the Raiders. Mm-hmm. And it's like it happened 5 minutes ago, dude. He's still hurt. He's still hurt. And then, but man, he poured all that into something, all that emotion he poured into you guys, and then you guys went on that journey together, and the relationships he created there and what they meant to him. And I was on the ride with him. Like it was the greatest interview, and I think it comes through. I hope it comes through.
Yeah, it
on
definitely
film,
does.
I definitely felt it.
It definitely does. I mean, Gruden, he brings in. We had him on the show. It's the best show we've ever had. Like his energy,
it was amazing. Yeah. It was amazing.
His energy is impossible to replicate.
Hardest chapter of Bucs history to tell.
You can say the current one.
Yeah, it is the current one, because so much great stuff is happening. We believe we're on the cusp of something, but it's like we're like in a little bit of mini purgatory right now. Are we about to? Can we win a Super Bowl with this team, or are we about to go sideways? Like I don't think any of us know, and it's.
We talk about it every week. We don't know.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But by the way, if we absolutely wax Carolina this weekend, we're going to start thinking maybe, hey, listen, the NFC's wide open. Why not us?
See, that's the energy we need on this show from Trent. How about this? Okay, I find this. Me being in the news industry, I always find this interesting because I think it was over 100 interviews you booked, right? Is that correct? Over 100 interviews. Yeah. Who was the hardest person to book? Who was the hardest person to get across from you? Oh my God!
I'm going to answer it a different.
I froze. I'm going to glitch.
No. I'm going to answer it a different way. I'm going to tell you who we didn't get.
Oh, okay. How about that?
Still bums me out. We didn't get Bo.
Yeah.
And we didn't get Parcells.
Right.
Oh.
And I'm telling you, somebody asked me the other day, "Do you ask them once and that's it?" No, we ask 1,000 different ways. We all have different. We go through the agents. We go through the friends.
That's a good answer.
We try every way we possibly can until the clock runs out, and neither one. I think both of them felt like there's a lot of stuff that went down, and I appreciate that you're telling the story. I'm glad you're telling the story. I'd rather not be on camera. Right. And they're both amazing. Like I would kill to interview either one of them, and I've worked with Parcells before, but we didn't get either one of them, and that bumps me out.
Here's another one. I got one before JB gets his last one in. What was the best moment you filmed that didn't make the final cut?
That was also on my list, yeah. We need like a digital exclusive, like an add-on, like an extra bonus clip.
Hardy Nickerson telling the story of whooping up on Keith McCants.
Oh wow!
Wow. It kills me to this day that it's not in.
Right.
I hate myself for not getting this in.
Is it not PG-13?
No, maybe I was overthinking it or something. Like you get in these edits and you're like, you can't set up too many characters at the same time. And,
right.
We needed to set up. I talked to you about this, Rondé. Like we purposely did not tell Rondé's backstory early, because if you have too many of your Hall of Famers backstories at the same time, it all runs together and it's like white noise. Right. So we're like, save Rondé for later. Let's talk about Sapp Brooks Lynch right now. And but I couldn't do Hardy, Sapp Brooks. It just waters everything down.
Trent, I wanted to give you. I was going to give you a hard time about that because you introduced my guy as Randy Barber, and I don't know how I felt about that. That's my co-host. I got to be defensive of the guy.
I should have.
Trent, JB and Garrett came in today, and they were ready to rip you apart, man.
Okay. I have one more.
Hey, wait a minute. How about the moment when Derek knocks?
Amazing.
Come on, dude. Yeah. Does that makes me cry?
That's a pretty good one.
And I'm in the sound mix the other day, and I'm like, turn that knock up a little louder. I want to hear that knock.
Goosebumps. All right, this is my last question for you before I let you go, Trent, and then Rondé can ask any final question he would like. But I'm just curious, most awkward moment during one of these interviews, like where just the room got really tense and it just got a little uncomfortable. Because I know in interviewing people, you can have awkward, uncomfortable moments when a story is told or you go back to a certain chapter in time. What was the most awkward moment for you?
It had to be with Sapp.
I mean, come on. Look, with Sapp, it's a rite of passage to piss him off. Like everyone who's ever done what we do, like if you ain't real, you ain't a real I don't know what documentary journal. Like I'm not the real thing if I didn't do something to piss him off, and I pissed him off.
Right.
You know, I asked him about the Chad Clifton hit, and it was game over.
Oh yeah.
Did he walk out on you?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
But
did you know that? Did you know that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But to his credit, home run interview. He absolutely gave us. When people watch this thing, my wife was telling me this morning because she's a little late to the party. She's just now watching it, and she's like, "I can't believe how great Sapp is. I can't believe how great Gruden is." And there's two opposite experiences. One is, you know, when you work with Sapp, like you're on the edge the whole time. That's the Sapp experience.
Yep.
I don't know if he's going to bounce 5 minutes in or 30 minutes in. He's going to get pissed at some point.
So how long did you have him?
Like,
How long did you have him, Trent?
I mean, it was supposed to be 3 hours. He greeted me by saying, "You get 30 minutes." I'm like, so I'm like cutting questions.
Right.
But the 30 went real well. The 30 became an hour, and an hour became an hour 15. And I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, this is going so well. I'm looking at my list. I'm like, and then I kept coming back. I kept pushing the Chad Clifton question down. And then when I finally answered it was game over.
Wow. Well, so
the other one is with Gruden. I can't remember what I asked. Oh, I think I asked him, you know, you get the call from Joel, and he says it's over. We're moving on. And after all you had done with and for this team and the journey you've been on, to get that phone call, how does it feel?
Right. Yeah.
And he said, what is this you're trying to do, Trent? Like, are you trying? Is every question a kick in the balls? Is that what you're trying? What is this project? Are you just trying to kick me in the balls? And I'm sitting there going, oh God. I was like trying to walk it. I was just trying to walk it back, but like you know, that's what this is.
So if you haven't watched it, then now you know what to look forward to. Those are the two of the greatest Bucs of all time, and their personalities.
Watch it.
All right. So,
but if you would have asked me second favorite interview of the whole thing, it would have been Sapp.
Yeah.
Because for those same reasons, like, and it's hard because Sapp, like, I'm such a fan. I got to check the fan card at the door.
Yes.
Like, I love Warren Sapp. I love everything he's about, what he's done for the franchise. We both used to work at NFL Network together. I never got to meet him, but I have to do my job, and the Chad Clifton questions on the list.
I got one last question. So celebrating 50 years, obviously, and the chapter's still writing itself this year. Are we still filming? Are you still filming to do something? Perhaps something happens this year that's worthy.
Believe me, if we make a run, that camera gets cranked back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm paying for it. This team, we all love this team and this story so much. The minute they make their next Super Bowl run, I'm sure we're back.
I love it.
I would imagine. Yeah.
This is well done, my friend. Well done.
Thank you.
Guys, go watch it. Raise the Flags. You can find the 10-episode series on Amazon Prime. Trent, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you, guys.
All right, back here on the Rondé Barber Show. My goodness, I'm on episode 7. I can't wait to.
Yeah, I'm
plowing through it right now.
I started to watch this without my wife, and my wife was like, "You cannot watch that without me." Okay. I only got 5 minutes into the first episode. Maybe I got 15 minutes into the first episode, and I was like, "Okay, I'll wait." I could tell. You could just tell. I mean, obviously, I sat down with him. I understood how the process was going to go and the types of stories that he was drawing out of us for this documentary. But to see it actually executed and see, you know, the conversations with all the old quarterbacks. You know, you sit down with Steve Young, and you know, you're just like, God, I forgot Steve Young was a part of this.
Oh yeah,
this story, this history. I mean, obviously, I knew that, but you just don't think about it. DeBerg, you know, he sits down with Trent Dilfer, and Trent Dilfer is very affable about what he went through. I think Trent does an amazing job of getting the best out of
I
guys.
could have given him a harder time. He cut me out on the part where we flew our WFLA helicopter over the field where Brady was practicing at a local high school here in Tampa with Gronk and all the guys. You know, that sound could have been included, but you know what, Trent? You're off the Zoom now. I'll give you a hard time another time. So this Raise the Flags documentary is promoted on Thursday Night Football, which ends up being, of course, Rondé.
Goodness.
Just really quick, let's just touch on it. Total dud.
Yeah.
Total dud from the Bucs. And I mean, as far as collapsing in the fourth quarter to the Falcons like that, shocking.
It wasn't a dud until it was a dud.
Yep. It was a fourth quarter dud.
It was a fourth quarter dud. I mean, I was watching this game and felt completely comfortable that the Bucs were going to win this game. Was it going to be gritty? Yeah. But, like, at some point, you got to find a way to stop number 7 and number 8, right? Just make somebody else beat you. And they just weren't able to. And then, you know, the kind of implosion at the end is just disappointing because, you know, as outsiders, like, and I'm not necessarily a full outsider, but everybody watching this show is, like, you can't help but see the big picture, right? In an overall scheme of things, we still control our own destiny. We still got a chance to make the playoffs or whatever. But, like, the vitriolic nature that's, like, been permeating for the past 6 days since that loss, it's hard not to, you know, agree with some of it. Like, you got a chance to grab the future of this season right now, and in 2 weeks they've just punted it away. They just said, you know what, we don't have what it takes to be the best team in the NFC South. And I know we're just gonna have to enjoy the roller coaster, dude, because it's a roller coaster.
Enjoy it. We have to. Do we have to enjoy it?
Well,
it feels like we're surviving it right now.
Most people will not admit this. They are terrified of roller coasters, even if they say they enjoy them. There's a moment of terror on every drop, and a moment of, like, relief every time you don't fall off the track, and that's kind of what we are right now as Bucs fans.
It certainly feels that way. But does Rondé think that the Bucs can win 2 of 3? Can we win just a game against a division opponent like Carolina coming up this week? The Rondé Barber Show will be back right after this.
You're watching the Rondé Barber Show, sponsored by Renewal by Andersen, superior products, exceptional service, and by Advent Health, the exclusive hospital of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, here's NFL Hall of Famer Rondé Barber. And a guy who still wears floaties in the pool, JB Buno.
Wow,
Man,
wow, this is getting personal.
It is getting more and more personal every week. Now I can't swim. I don't know where these are coming from.
Well,
man.
I'm not gonna. There's no analogy here, but I hope you're not jumping ship from the Bucs.
I am not jumping ship, and we'll talk more about that here in just a moment as we are once again back here on the Rondé Barber Show. JB Buno here with the Hall of Famer, NFL legend Rondé Barber. Rondé, the Bucs have to win 2 of their final 3 games. Of course, 2 of the final 3 are against the Carolina Panthers,
right,
who gifted the Bucs a loss this past week, to the New Orleans Saints. Right?
Yes.
It was the Saints.
It was the Saints.
The Bucs somehow still, in a way, control their destiny to the playoffs if they can just somehow turn this frown upside down and actually win a game.
All right. Put it this way: we're not the Chiefs. They're out. They're officially dead. Right.
By the way, you called that. By the way, let's a little credit on your name.
You could just see.
You put the nail in the coffin on the Chiefs weeks ago, and here we are.
We're also not starting 44-year-old Phillip Rivers at quarterback, so I actually feel pretty good. I feel pretty good about the Bucs right now.
Yeah.
The fact that, and just regurgitating what we said last week, we control our own destiny. Right, that's all you ever really want at the end of a season. You know, I know you want to be playing your best ball. I do believe that kind of mantra or metaphor, or whatever you want to call it, holds true. Teams that squeak into the playoffs don't usually go on runs unless you're the New York Giants in 2007, who squeaked into the playoffs, beat us at home, if you remember, and then went on the road for 3 consecutive games, won a Super Bowl, and beat Tom Brady in the Patriots. That doesn't happen very often.
Fluke.
It's flukish, right? It's just irregular. That being said, that's kind of what, if you're a Bucs fan, that's what you're hoping for, right? You're hoping for this team to somehow, really just kind of turn the corner and just say, you know what, everything that we were, the reasons we were winning close games earlier in the year needs to be the reason we're winning games later in the year, the last 3 weeks of the season. Because let's be honest, the last 5 weeks of the season, we've been losing those games. We're finding ways to lose those games. And thankfully, Carolina did us a favor and went for it on 4th and 1, didn't get it, and never even thought about scoring again. A lot of encouraging things. First of all, I'll start with some of the kind of concerning things. Simon McCollum's out for the year, I think, on IR.
Yep.
So if you're
not playing great football last few weeks
great
as
anyways,
well,
right?
Yeah.
But there's problem at quarterback, right? It's one way or another. 2 rookies are going to play an important role in the secondary coming down the stretch, and that's not ideal, right?
Rondé, how old are you again? Phillip Rivers, guy's 44.
Yeah, I got 6 years on Phillip.
The Bucs need a corner.
All right, yeah, let's do it. All right, I'll do it. Sure, okay.
Jason Pierre-Paul might start on Sunday, or you might see him on the field on Sunday.
Everybody practiced this week. That's available. That's not on our practice this week. So there is some positive signs, and obviously last week having Mike Evans back. I mean, we talked about this for weeks, and now he's finally here, and you saw the impact that it can make. Having a guy that destroys one-on-one matchups. We haven't had that in weeks, and just immediately you saw how much better our offense was because Mike Evans was in the lineup. And you saw taking that pressure off of Mecca, what that did for him. I thought he had a great game. This is the best game he's had in 6 weeks, right? He's not the number one guy. He doesn't have to be the star. He doesn't have to take 34 targets in 4 weeks and catch 14 of them. Like, you've got this superstar, freak athlete, alien, as Raheem called him after the game, Mike Evans, to take all that pressure off our passing offense. And we can't make bad decisions at the end of games, right? And I mean that in the interception by Baker. I know he's trying to take blame for it. I'm not blaming him. Yes, he threw a bad ball, but that was kind of a sneaky little defense where the guy came underneath that out route to Mike. The reality is 3rd and 28 and 4th and 14, dude, you cannot lose those. Game's over, right? You just cannot lose those. No matter what happened before that. That cannot be the reason you lose a football game. That's embarrassing.
Mike Evans, the locker room, or the clip of him walking to the locker room, and you can hear him saying, 3rd and 28, right. Your take on that? Because that moment went kind of semi-viral.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you don't want to say where you start feeling that dissension and because good teams come together at the end of the season, right? Everybody's working for each other. There's that communal sense of urgency that good teams possess, and you just feel it. Like Denver, I picked against Denver last week, but when you watch them play, you can feel this communal sense of them. Like, oh, we can accomplish this, man. Like, doesn't matter who we play. It doesn't matter if it's Green Bay that was kind of surging there for a little bit at the end of that game. We're going to find a way to win a football game, and they did. And that I'm not seeing that with Tampa, but they got 2 weeks to do it. And to their I think their benefit, they do have this team twice in 3 weeks, and they win one of them, and then beat Miami, who's obviously benching their quarterback now. You kind of feel good. Win 2 of the last 3. If you beat Carolina twice, great. If you beat Carolina once and Miami once, you're probably in, right? You are in. You are in because we have the tiebreaker over them. So I'm looking forward to these next 2 weeks, and for this team, Todd Bowles to get his team to answer answer the bell, answer these questions. Like, hey, it's not going to change, man. Like, this team's not going to get better in the next month. You can't add new players. You really can't get guys that are playing now to play better. It just has to be is what it is, right? They have to find a way to win close games, and they haven't done that in the last 2 weeks. Fully expecting a change.
Real quick on Mike Evans, Greg Auman tweeting out today that Mike Evans was talking about potentially playing number 13, playing a number 13th season, and saying that reporters are speaking it into existence. That there's a growing feeling, Rondé, that Mike Evans is returning next season. That's the feeling.
Mike, you can look at my face right now. Mike better not retire. I mean, are you kidding me? This dude is still like the most dangerous receiver in the NFL. Like, I know there's a lot of great receivers in the league. It's just the nature of the position in this sport. Like that's where all the talent is going to be. Mike is still up there, and I know that this season's not going to be reflective of that at all. We're going to look back at this in the next 50-year documentary, and it's going to be a blip on the radar of Mike Evans' career, and there better be more bullet points after. That's all I'm going to say.
Coming back from a broken collarbone on Thursday Night Football, he looked great.
He looked unbelievable.
He looked vintage Mike Evans. It was really awesome to see producer Rhett Fail Jr., who was with me there at the a few rows back on the 40-yard line, losing his mind, by the way, nearly assaulting a few fans near him because he was losing his mind over watching. It's Mike Evans, dude! He kept screaming it to everybody. In section 136.
Good matchup this week. Him and J.C. Horn. He's a damn good corner, man.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be a good matchup.
I'll put you on the spot. Before we talk about the NFC North, I want to put you on the spot. Right now, in this moment, who is the better football team? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Carolina Panthers?
I'm still going to say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I know that we're on a slide. I'm not we maybe put our hands on the side of the slide and slow down when we beat the Cardinals. Otherwise, we're like free falling down the slide. I still think we're the better team. I just feel like we got better players. I feel like we have more of an upside on offense. Carolina is woefully inconsistent, and it's been that way all year. I know they're a young football team, and Dave Canales is only in his second year, but they have enough inconsistencies where I feel like we should be able to beat them. They just got to go show it. They have to go show it.
Let's quickly check out the NFC North. We've been checking out some interesting and compelling divisions around the league.
You got NFC and AFC up there, don't you, Rhett? Yeah. All right, let's start with the AFC. Flip this because I want to do the AFC.
Oh yeah,
first.
let's talk AFC.
So the AFC North, man.
Oh my goodness.
This is a conference that
drama.
Right, I got the exact same word written down.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Drama, man.
This is maybe the most quarterback drama division in the history of football.
In a good way and a not so good way.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
In both good and bad ways.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you start with the Steelers, right? They got Aaron Rodgers-led team, right, with a coach who just can't quite seem to succeed enough, even though he's won a Super Bowl. He hasn't had a losing season. But this could be Mike's last hurrah in Pittsburgh. I just don't know, right? But you have, to me, a quarterback in Aaron Rodgers who feels like he's actually hitting his stride now. I don't know if that's
weird to say.
Like, right? At week 14 going into week 16, he's hitting his stride right now. But I would say for this team, they have to make it count. And the only team that's really competing in this team also had quarterback issues this year when Lamar Jackson got hurt, who was an MVP level guy. They bring in Derrick Henry, who started off with a bang. I mean, you remember what Derrick Henry? When was the last time we talked about Derrick Henry?
It was like week 2 or 3.
It was like at least two and a half months ago, right?
Yep.
And there's been no highlights since then. And their defense, you're talking about inconsistency, their defense is like...
It's a good point.
Right?
Unbelievable.
Not
like a Jim Harbaugh team, by the way.
Right.
They're usually the model of consistency.
Right. But you talking about their finish to this season, they still have a chance, man, despite like a horrid start to the year. They're only a game behind Pittsburgh, and this will be kind of like our finish in the NFC South. Bengals...
Oh, my God. The Joe Burrow stuff is weird. Oh, my God.
Here's the drama.
That's the drama.
Joe Burrow, injured. Go out and play whoever the other guy was. I'm blanking on his name right now. Sign Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco experiment fails. Joe Burrow comes back. Joe Burrow has a great game.
Jake Browning.
Yeah, Jake Browning. Yep. Joe Burrow comes back, has a great game. They lose anyways. Then Joe Burrow gets really, really introspective on in the weeks leading up to the last part of the season. Like, is Joe Burrow gonna quit? Like Andrew Luck type feeling? Like, what's going on with this team? Like, this team, to me, JB, they're like, I've never seen a window shut so fast.
On the Bengals.
On the Bengals. Yeah. It's just like done, right? It's like time. It might be time to like reevaluate the Bengals. And finally,
there's all these trade rumors now with Burrow. It's just the drama there is overflowing in Cincinnati.
And then that even get us to the one that's not even on the graphic. Thank you, Rhett, for not throwing the other. If you're going to throw the quarterback drama up there, you might as well just throw Myles Garrett up there for the Browns. I mean, they had 5 quarterbacks in camp. Right?
Yeah.
2 rookies,
Gabriel, Shador, Flacco was there,
right?
And then
Watson was on, before they put him on PUP or whatever.
They're talking about Watson competing for a job next year too.
Oh my God! The only good thing in Cleveland, Myles Garrett, despite being on a 3-win team, should be Defensive Player of the Year, and I don't know if I've ever seen a player on a worse team be considered the favorite for defensive player of the year. But he's going to get that sack. He's going to tie the record this week, maybe probably break it with 1.5 sacks. So when the offense is on the field, just go get popcorn. You don't need to see Shador or anybody else. Just make sure you're in your seats when 95's on the field. All right.
AFC North.
AFC
Drama
North.
equals drama. NFC North? What's a word for the NFC North?
Oh, this is competitive.
Yeah, competitive is the word.
And this was going to be a fun finish to the year because you have a 10-win team, a 9-win team, and an 8-win team, and they play each other through the final 3 weeks of the season.
Wow.
It's going to be really cool. The Bears, obviously, they're leading, the NFC.
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson's effect on Caleb Williams, and obviously we talked about this, but Caleb's only in his second year. So, like, a lot of the credit should go to Ben, but a lot of credit should go to Caleb for just evolving, maturing in a second year.
Let's not forget these are the Bears, folks.
Right.
The Chicago Bears, and they're competing with the Packers and Lions.
Right. And I know it's a lot about Ben Johnson, the offense, and Caleb Williams, but the real reason is their defense has 30 total takeaways this year. Like, that's like numbers that we used to put up when we were the best defense in football. Do you know what their point difference or their turnover differential is?
It's got to be like in the teens.
20.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
30 takeaways, only 10 giveaways.
Yeah.
So
taking care of the football, too.
Taking care of football. It's the most beleaguered fan base ever.
Yep.
The Bears. So, bravo. Packers, huge game this week. Obviously, Packers at Bears. I don't know if you took them or not, but, this team, I think, is getting hit with the injury bug at the wrong time. They made a huge leap in expectations when they signed Micah Parsons, and to see him go down with non-contact injury last week, ACL,
sucks.
That sucks, man. Christian Watson, who was just kind of hitting his stride, Tampa boy Christian Watson, by the way, out left with a concussion last week, I think, and they have to win this week. They're undefeated in division, but they have to win this week. If the Bears beat them, and they go 2 games up with 2 to go, I think it's over for them. The biggest Super Bowl favorite that just kind of squeaking by right now is Detroit. I think the loss of both the coordinators is more than they thought it was going to be. Head coach is calling plays. It just doesn't feel like the same dominant team that was a couple of years, even a year.
Something's
a year
off.
Ago. Something's off, right?
Right. I can't put my finger on it when I watch.
I can't either. Because you feel like it's the same team, but it's not getting anywhere near the same results.
They lost coordinators.
Yes, and I think that's it. That's it. The Vikings complete lost season, right? JJ.
Yeah.
Is JJ the guy? That's the only question you're trying to answer if you're a Minnesota Vikings follower.
That's all that matters.
Is this guy the guy? If not, we got to start thinking about something else. But they have a winnable game this week, which may or may not be in my pick 6.
Speaking of which,
which may or may not be in my pick 6.
Do you want to go first? Because we are, you and I are in lockstep with these 2-win weeks. Our pick 6 segment. I am holding on to the slimmest of leads every week.
This one 1 point lead will not go away. Yes, I'll go first because I just mentioned my teams, and of course it's the Vikings versus the New York Giants. And look, I just need a W, right?
Okay. Yeah, let's get this man a dub.
Vikings are favorites. The Giants are just bad. I actually don't hate their roster, but they don't know how to win, man. And JJ kind of looked like a player last week. Let's see if he can back it up. Interestingly enough, speaking of JJ, when was the last time you heard Justin Jefferson's name?
Yeah, quiet.
Dude, this might be the quietest
weird
season.
And he's a superstar,
He's
man.
Superstar.
Yep.
Superstar. But anyways, I have them winning this week. Maybe JJ and JJ start going. Here we go. This one's going to be interesting. So the Dolphins are dogs going into this game at home versus Cincy.
Without Tua now.
And I made this choice before I knew. I was kind of thinking the quarterback change might come, but
It's Quinn Ewers out of Texas, right? It is? Have that right? Yeah.
there was a lot of games to choose from. There were some close underdog games, and I don't know why I went with this. And I don't know. I think one of these teams is begging for the season to end, and that is Cincinnati.
They just want it to be over.
So I think they just want it to be over, and Mike McDaniel's fighting for his job. So I think I'm taking the Dolphins dogs at home. All right. Lastly, but not leastly, the Bucs are going to win when it matters. I'm not going to come off of this. I have not picked against them all year. Now, if they lose this game, I might pick against them next time they play.
I'm going to start to call you Buckified Birdie. You keep picking the Bucs to win.
I said we were going to dump them if they lost last game. Of course, we can't do that. I don't have that much say. My producer over here, Rhett, will not let me get rid of the Bucs picking. So, Baker's 4-0 versus the Panthers since they let him go. So I'm taking Baker to get 5-0 versus Carolina.
I'll breeze through my pick six picks, favorite underdog and Bucs game. Yeah. Look, I took the crazy pick last week by picking Phillip Rivers and the Colts to beat Seattle, which I was close on, by the way. Very close. Close. Yes. Close. No points for close, but still. So Eagles at command. I think the Eagles are going to hit their stride.
Yes.
I think that we can't have the Chiefs suffer their demise and the Eagles suffer their demise all in the same season. Eagles beat the Commanders. I don't know how the Chargers are dogs at Dallas. I guess the Dallas Jerry Jones, Palace effect in the AT&T Stadium.
It's one of those same things.
A weird sort of. And the line grew in the last 24 hours. So the Chargers are the clear underdog at Dallas. I'm going to take that as a layup. And then give me the Bucs. Give me the Bucs.
Give me the Bucs. I love it.
I'm picking all road teams this week.
Easy.
Insert bad word here. The Rondé Barber Show will be back with Ask Rondé and our hangout with Bucs fans at Thursday Night Football right after this.
It's time for you to Ask Rondé, sponsored by Advent Health and Renewal by Andersen.
Welcome back to the Rondé Barber Show. When you're a Rondé Barber, when you're a Hall of Famer, when you are a Buccaneers legend, when your name is literally in the Ring of Honor at Raymond James Stadium, do you know what happens?
Thank you,
People
sir.
just give you gifts.
All right.
So let me explain this story to our audience here. Rondé Barber and I were at the Bucs game on Thursday night outside of Bucs Beach at Raymond James Stadium, and you did a meet and greet with fans. You are the people's champ.
Man of the people.
Man of the people. And then out of nowhere, not this. First of all, we had the longest line. The line was at least 100 people long, all waiting to meet you, including people that had gifts. So we're gonna throw up slider cam here. Let's throw up slider cam and Rhett.
Look at that.
Can we get a good shot? Look at this. This is from Dickie. Dickie, who literally packed this in his vehicle.
It's pretty awesome.
It's really awesome art. And what is it like just getting gifts from people?
I mean, I have some of these in my house. I got a couple of these, especially right after I got into the Hall of Fame. These start 2 or 3 of these showed, not these.
Yeah, look at this. Rhett's gonna hold it behind Rondé.
A couple of these showed up at my house, and 2 of them I hung. They're hanging in my house right now. So it's actually really cool. That one's awesome with all the characters that he involved in this. I mean, you got Brady, you got Lynch right in the middle, Mike Evans, Rhett's favorite player of all time. That's thank you, Mike.
That is pretty cool. So here we have some video. Let's show some video here from this, because this was a lot of fun. And let's show the line. Here it is, right outside Raymond James Stadium.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful night, by the way. It was a beautiful night until football started getting.
I was out there with the megaphone, and I'm standing there looking lost. And there's the star of the show, and I'm screaming to everybody.
Well, we were begging people to do the Ask Rondé questions too. Yeah. We got a bunch of
Ask Rondé questions, and a shout out to Jace, who I met there. It was pretty cool.
Interview with my girl Jen Lee.
Yep. And I met a bunch of fans, but man, the amount of joy that you brought people until you said, "I'll be right back." So Rondé was
I may or may not have been double committed a little bit.
Rondé had commitments, and so there's this massive line that forms at least 100 people long, and they've been waiting. And then Rondé's like,
"You're a star in your own right. You should have just taken my cue and just fit right in, and be like, hey, I'm JB. Anybody want to take pictures of me?" And
no one knows who I am.
No
one knows who I am.
The crickets would have been like,
Rondé pulls me aside. It's a true story I'm sharing with our audience. Rondé pulls me aside. He goes, JB, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. But you disappear for 15 minutes. I was like, where'd Rondé go? And then you came back. And here's the best part of the story, everybody, that Rondé did not turn a single person away. Every single solitary person that was in line got to meet and get pictures and do autographs with Rondé Barber, and you deserve a lot of credit. You're the people's champ.
I do appreciate you cutting that line, because we were going to miss the game.
I was the guy who had to cut the line off at the end. That was not fun. But we got a lot of great Ask Rondé questions at this event. We saw shout out to Kim, Sherman, Phil Hill, the entire team here at WFLA for setting up the microphone and that beautiful backdrop. And here's the very first question that we have from that night that we're going to be putting on the Rondé Barber Show.
Let's hear it.
All right. My name is Patrick Patterson. My question is, the 50th anniversary has been massive for the team, and what's been your favorite part that you've been involved with, whether it's something at the game, something with the fans, and a meet and greet, whatever it is? Just curious what it is. Thanks.
Great question. Obviously, all this has been a huge undertaking by the Bucs, and they've done a phenomenal job. Whether it's the stuff that they're sending in the mail, whether it's the engagement with past players, whether it's this documentary that we featured today on the Rondé Barber Show with Trent Cooper. My favorite by far was not only putting Simeon Rice into the Ring of Honor, but the first game, the first home game, the Jets game. There was over 130 ex-players, some that I play with, some that were before me, many more that were after me. But that sense of, the event that they put on before that, and you're just sitting in there with all the Glazers, all of the past, some of the past coaches, and those 130 players, and just that camaraderie that is still there. That just with guys you didn't play with and the guys that you kind of know about, that moment was really, really cool. I was in awe of it, and I just can't thank our ownership enough, and Brian Ford, for his efforts in making all of that happen for all of us. Because yes, this is about the community, it's about the Bucs 50th years, but the players, embracing the players I thought was really, really impactful for all of us.
I knew because the Simeon induction I knew meant a lot to you, and I remember seeing the photos of you reuniting with a lot of your old teammates, a lot of people you haven't seen in years. That was a really cool way to kick off the season. With that,
right.
It's time to reveal the winner of some signed merch. If you submitted a video question to AskRondé.com, your name is in this carousel, folks.
You got somebody's going to get a really cool gift here.
What is it?
This is the 50 season mini helmet. These are really cool to sign. And the winner is Justin Hines. Congratulations.
Man.
Well done. JB, this is a fun show, man.
Loved it.
Loved this with Trent. I loved digging into Bucs history. Talk a little bit about what we got to do here to finish the season. But, Trent, I thought was phenomenal. He did an unbelievable job with this documentary. If you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it.
It's amazing. I think that there's so much to talk about in the weeks ahead. We're going to be talking about Bucs, Panthers ad nauseum.
Yes.
So a chance to just really go through this time capsule. I think, one thing really quickly I want to just touch on, because Trent touched on there in the end. This I might go down in history as the official chronicling of the 50 years of Bucs, how the Bucs became a franchise, culminating with 2 Super Bowls in their first 50 seasons. And to hear from Trent, and also to see you in it, man. I'm watching on my big screen, and I'm like, that's my guy, man.
Yes,
right there, Rondé Barber.
Yes, yes, nostalgia, education, inspiration. I thought that was really cool. It's well done.
It's awesome.
Really well
it's
done.
Awesome. Go watch it, folks. Raise the flags on Amazon Prime. Love it. And man, we'll all be watching for Bucs Panthers. What a pivotal matchup. We'll have coverage on WFLA. Your official Bucs station all week long. Rondé, been a blast, man.
Yes,
we really appreciate everybody watching here on whatever platform you are watching or listening on. We will see you next time on the Rondé Barber Show.
Thank you for watching the Rondé Barber Show on YouTube. To see how we produce digital shows like this one, check out the new Parker Street YouTube channel. Subscribe now.